3-1.
To which team? That's a reasonable question right
3-1.
now.
So, welcome to the Red Doors Den podcast. Obviously, we're coming off a international break, happily, or maybe sadly, because we're pretty shit at the moment. But yeah, it's nice to have club football back. But yeah, what were your guys' thoughts on sort of the Manchester derby and what it sort of means for Ollie and the club in general? Do you think they're gonna sort of wait till the end of the season, or what? Do you want to go first, Das?
It's evident that after you get smashed 5-0 and then beat comfortably City by City and Liverpool in your own backyard, and then they don't do something about it, they stay in for the season. It's that simple, really. Right? You can't get beat by your two arch rivals and then go, yeah, and just sit there and not do anything. I don't know. Maybe they had internal talks of, all right, I'll step down at the end of the season. Who knows? But this was, if they were going to do something, they would have done it. And I think it's because Pochettino was in a job. I think if Poch was on the market, we would have got Poch. It's that simple. But yeah, what it does, I don't know. It's a weird one. I say it's a weird one. It kind of ended our season for that title challenge we're meant to do.
I disagree with Darth about the Pochettino thing. I really don't think the thing that's keeping Ollie in a job is the lack of availability of other candidates. I think what's keeping Ollie in a job right now is the fact that Ed Woodward doesn't want his last thing to be sacking Ollie, and Richard Arnold doesn't want his first thing to be sacking Ollie. So right now, basically the two guys who Joel Glazer most listens to are saying, we don't want anything to do with this, so we keep going as is, hoping that things turn around when they clearly aren't, at least before the break.
But that's what's wrong with the club at the moment. It's the whole, let's act like a big club and go, look how many followers on Instagram we've got, when we're not acting like a fucking big club, if that makes sense. Like, it's the whole, we're going to act big, look at this, look at our TikTok followers, look at our Instagram, look how much interactions we get. When to be a fucking big club, you need to win shit.
It's not even just about winning things. It's about, you have to have proper planning. Like, if you plan well and lose, that's acceptable. The problem is, I mean, at least what I see happening right now, I don't think our form is going to turn around after the international break. And I think we're going to end up in a situation like with Jose Mourinho, where we play on, I think it was a Tuesday that we played against Liverpool on the 17th of December. And then on the 18th, they sacked him. And on the 9th, they brought in Ollie. What was that?
It was a Sunday. We played Liverpool. It was a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
It was
then I think we played on either the Thursday or a Friday, because it's 4 or 5 days in between matches. I remember that. And so they parachuted Ollie in, yet like 2 days to prepare the team. And it seems like that's kind of where we're headed again, because no one wants to act right now. It'll get worse. And then they'll act and they'll say, oh, we planned and we thought about it. Look how smart we are that we took a month to evaluate things. And the issue with that is, when the club definitely briefed to the press that he's got 3 matches after the Liverpool game to turn things around. When you brief that and those matches end with a win against Spurs that sacked their manager immediately afterwards, draw with Atalanta, lose to Man City, that's not the kind of sequence that should have resulted in him keeping his job. So if that was your briefing, then in that time that you had, the week or two that you had after the Liverpool game, you should have sounded out identified candidates and had a plan ready to go. But because the club just decided, oh, nothing bad could possibly happen, he'll turn it around. So they didn't actually plan. And now they're like, oh, crap, we have to figure out what to do. And they're kind of buying time, and they're hoping that they can get to the summer and kind of sneak top 4. But the issue is, the way that we were playing before the break and the atmosphere around the club, we could potentially be 8th or 9th, like Lampard's Chelsea were at the end, and then they're forced into a change and they panic and we end up in a bad situation.
There just seems to be a lack of a succession plan after Ollie. They thought, oh, we've stumbled upon Ollie and went, all right, this is it. We won't need anyone else. But in actual reality, I think City have a succession plan after Pep. Liverpool have one after Klopp and Gerrard. They've all set like seeds on who they want after each manager, right? They all know who they want, when they want him, and like City had the succession plan before Pep even got there. The moment they got, what's his name? Is it Taxi?
Chiqui Vigeristan, yeah.
Yeah, the moment they got him, Soriano, the moment you knew they were literally building it for Pep. So I'm like,
and then what they did was they went and got Pellegrini, who played a similarly possession-based style of football to prepare for the transition rather than continue with Mancini, even though he'd won them the title. That was long-term planning, and that's something we just don't have at this club.
De Bruyne was Pep signing, Sterling, everything, and then you look at it and go, yeah, okay, that will make sense. But yeah, we just don't have a succession plan.
Okay, I just want to just step in here and just like maybe raise a question regarding the succession planning and stuff. Do you think United are sort of in the process of building a succession plan, but then they're taking it cautiously because they don't want to get burned like in the last two cases? Maybe that's why they're taking it slow and just trying to like wait. And that's why you see the names of Ten Hag just circling around all the time. Because if you look at Ten Hag, who also wants to play an attacking sort of possession-based style of football, right? So maybe they're like, okay, we want him to come in, but then he obviously isn't going to leave mid-season. So I mean, yes, I agree. Up until this point, there hasn't been a succession plan, but maybe, and this is like a hypothetical sort of question I'm putting up, maybe that they are in the process of making a succession plan, but they're just being cautious about it. They're taking steps slowly because they don't want to get burned in the like they got in the last two cases with Mourinho and Van Gaal.
I think you're right, Vin. The problem is, if you look at it, number one, smart clubs, if you look at Man City, look at Liverpool, would have a succession plan in place even before the manager's under threat.
Jose. We should have been under Jose. We should have had a succession plan.
Yeah, so first of all, that. And then the other thing is, not only should they have had a succession plan then, when you say he's got 3 games to save his job, that's when you make the succession plan. Then you haven't done it already. So we're in this situation where we keep delaying this succession planning. I really don't think the issue is succession planning, honestly. I think the club have their short list. Simon Stone and Fabrizio Romano both said 3 people, Eric Ten Hag, Maurizio Pochettino, and Brendan Rodgers in some order. So we know what the short list is. I think the club have a succession plan. And I think it's a good one, because if you look at it, all 3 of those are possession-based managers by and large. Brendan Rodgers' Liverpool is a little bit more counter-attacking, but broadly speaking, Swansea City, Leicester City, and Celtic are all possession-based style. Maurizio Pochettino Spurs were not quite to the same extent as like a Van Gaal or Ten Hag team, but they had like 56-57% possession on average.
And they want to attack, right?
These are, I think, well-suited replacements, and there's a coherent style of play. It's not like we're looking at Zidane, who like crossing, Conte, who plays with 3 at the back, and I don't know, Dean Smith. Like there's a coherent 3 that they're looking at. The problem is, this should have been done months ago, and now if you end up in a situation where you're forced into a change after this international break, there's not one till February or March. So the new guy has like 3 days before the next match, which is way less than ideal, obviously.
Speaking of what you were saying about the whole going from different ideologies from manager to manager, is what we did. We went from Moyes to Van Gaal to Jose, and then to Ollie, who all played different styles of systems, and it's insane.
Yeah, and now I think they want to like stick now that they've gotten Ollie, they want to stick to that similar style of play, which is why you see the 3 names that have been shortlisted.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's about pace, and I think that's where John Murtaugh comes into play massively. It's his decision, because if you look at it with the previous appointments, it was Woodward making shortlisting and making the final calls. Now that Murtaugh's come in, like Resurgent has said before in the past in his tweets, I agree with him that it should be Murtaugh's call. Like Woodward can be there to give like the final sort of approval, sign off, and do whatever. But like the shortlisting, the interviewing, and the selection process has to be done by Murtaugh, no one else.
I think as far as the succession plan goes, me and Resurgent were talking briefly yesterday, and I think things are definitely happening upstairs, because I can't remember who reported saying that the fans and the fan base would have to be sort of convinced of Brendan Rodgers, and obviously he seems to be the leading candidate. And I was talking to his agent yesterday, and we were just sort of pondering the idea that the club is sort of indoctrinating these things out now, just sort of get used to it in the summer. So I think things are happening, and there is a succession plan perhaps forming shape now. But I do agree with it should have happened months ago.
Yeah.
I'm reasonably convinced the next manager, whether it's now or in the summer, will be Brendan Rodgers. The Jason Burt from the Telegraph reported that in late October, that he was preferred over Pochettino, and they wanted somebody with Premier League experience. And then you had Leah Smith said it, they were in talks with Brendan Rodgers. Then you had Muppeteers, I think, said something similar. So you've got all sorts of sources kind of combined. Obviously, we don't have Simon Stone or Fabrizio or something, but a lot of people who've been proven to have sources in the past are saying Brendan Rodgers is John Murtaugh's pick. And if he's the pick, then he should be the one who gets it, despite what we've said on past podcasts about our concerns about him.
I remember reading a while back that the club really wanted to keep a British core as well, and they felt like Brendan Rodgers would be part of that.
Let me ask you this, though. Is there anyone on here who sees any way Ollie's in charge next season, other than if he wins the Champions League or something?
No.
If he somehow comes back, wins the league, wins the Champions League, and wins the FA
he'd
Cup.
have to win something and finish top 4.
If he wins the treble,
he's got to win it. At this point, he's got to win a Champions League, and FA Cup doesn't even do it.
I think the club might give it to him if he won the FA Cup and got top 4. They might. I wouldn't put it past them.
Even if he
definitely
doesn't,
has to win something.
Look,
I still
if
think
he wins
should
the
go.
Champions League, he's staying next season. It's simple as
I think even if he wins the FA Cup in top 4, I still think he should go. Because you can't.
I would kill to
that'll be like Louis Van Gaal. Yeah. And that's how it should be.
Except Van Gaal finished 5th on goal difference, but
yeah, but we did Van Gaal day, and I'll always say that.
Do you think that would be a bit like?
I don't know because I don't know if winning an FA Cup saves his job, because there is precedence in the form of Louis Van Gaal. Like, you win an FA Cup, you still get sacked.
Yeah, but we know that the club really look at the 3 times we've sacked a manager. David Moyes couldn't mathematically qualify for the Champions League. Louis Van Gaal could have qualified for the Champions League mathematically until the last day. Yeah. And so he kept the only game he had his job after we couldn't qualify for the Champions League was the FA Cup final, which obviously you're not going to sack the manager out of a cup final unless you're Tottenham Hotspur. So that was I think that's kind of the threshold the club used. Mourinho was a different case. We were 10 points off top 4. There was a lot of internal discord. I think the Chelsea statement when he left them was, quote, palpable discord. It was kind of the same thing with us. So that was a little special.
It's the quickest way you can get sacked is losing a dressing room. And I don't
know. There's been some stuff coming out about Ollie as well. Like, have you seen it?
Oh, the international break, yeah. But
I think it's a torn dressing room at this point. I think the British players, by and large, are standing behind him. I think he's got the support probably of Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, but I think you have a lot of the fringe players
against him, yeah.
Van de Beek, who are just ready for him to go.
But then I understand where they're coming from, because rumor has it he said he would rotate it more. Which, fair enough, okay.
Yeah, he signed the players. You can't spend 15 million on a left back and then say, I'm not going to rotate my left back. You can't. Like with Dalot, when he doesn't play, we can at least say, okay, Ollie didn't sign him. He's not very good. Tellez is a decent player, and Ollie signed him, so he's responsible for
Van de Beek's good.
He promised Van de Beek minutes in the summer, and so many reports came out about that. He said, I promised him minutes. He said, you will play. And he hasn't played, so you can't blame him for being pissed off.
Well, he's going to start. There are strong rumors of him starting on Saturday, so that's something.
There are not strong rumors of him starting on Saturday. There's one from Disco Mirror, who is the same guy who fell for the Pogba Bruno Fernandes story from the Comedy site a couple of years ago. The Athletics article is very it's just saying it would be a good chance for him to start. They're not saying
against fucking Watford, of course.
Yeah.
But anyway,
there's a clear division, as in the regularly starting players are still sort of behind him to an extent, and the fringe players are against him.
I understand Bailly and Lindelof getting annoyed at him because Maguire's so out of form, and Shaw for that matter. I understand
why is Bailly getting annoyed for? What is Bailly getting annoyed for?
I mean, in fairness, playing Harry Maguire off 1 day of training in a month was probably. I don't like Eric.
Well, he played a good game against Atlanta, no doubt. But then he has no right to speak after the mishap against City.
That's what he does.
I know,
He has
the Leicester game where he played.
No, he has a right to speak about against that. That's what I'm saying. He has a right to go. Why are you playing a not even fit Maguire that shouldn't have started over a fit player who played well midweek?
Yeah.
Yeah, but are you going to get Atalanta by? Are you going to get the West Ham game-winning tackle by? Or are you going to get Tottenham by?
Or you're going to get the... Or you're going to
get
the own goal
conceding
City
City that
by.
gamble over going with Harry Maguire off 1 day of training is the thing.
And this is where I question Ollie on his... everybody's like, oh, he's got good man management. And I'm like, to an extent.
He has up until this season, because before this season, you can't question... Yeah, you can't question anything he's done. Well, nothing he's done, but in terms of man management, all the players loved him. You know, even the fringe players, because he rotated. You know, but then when you have Van der Beek and Lingard and Tellez, and probably one or two others who just aren't playing near enough at all.
You know what I think it is? You know how
I guess it's just like bowing down to like big egos, I guess, like Ronaldo and like
I don't think it's egos necessarily, because McFred always play, and that's not an ego thing.
No, I mean by ego I meant personalities.
You know how if you have too much of a sweet thing, it becomes bitter?
Yeah.
I think what happens with Ollie's man management is his style is to placate and be like conciliatory towards people. So instead of confronting, like if someone went up to Jose Mourinho and said, why am I not playing more? He'd tell him to get lost, basically. You can leave. That would be Jose Mourinho's response. Like, I decide that your playing time. If you go up to Ollie and say, oh yeah, I'll try to include you more, so that keeps players on side. But the problem is that's also a promise that you've made. And when you don't keep the promise, then on the other end, it becomes a negative.
Yep. Yeah. Speaking of, I forgot where I was going to try and bring Henderson into this.
He's one of them as well. Yes.
Yeah. He had long COVID, is what it's known as, right? I presume it was going to be number one. I think McGrath.
That was just bad timing.
Docker said at the start of the season Henderson was number one, 100%.
I think that was Luckhurst, but yeah.
No, I'm sure it was Docker as well.
I think Docker did mention it. Although Luckhurst was the one who was banging drums about it, but yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, anyway, like before we move on to players, like regards to Ollie, even if he finish between 5th and 10th, but if he wins the Champions League, he's going to stay.
You're getting the Champions League for winning the Champions League.
Look, if you become the 3rd manager in club history to win the Champions League,
definitely
you can finish 17th. As long as we don't get relegated, it doesn't matter.
What you mean? If you get relegated,
sure. There you
mean? Imagine winning the Champions League, you're getting relegated. What do you mean? We're at Nottingham Forest on Tuesday, and then in Juventus.
But yeah, I mean that's where we are right now, because if a change was to happen, it would have happened in these 2 weeks. So
you never know though, because we would have said the same thing about Jose Mourinho in 2019 or 2018, except they sacked him in the middle of December with 4 days until the next match. So I wouldn't put any level of incompetence past our hierarchy.
Yeah, but then if you look at the game that Jose Mourinho's last game was, which was Liverpool and Anfield, so the occasion also factors in. We've already played City and Liverpool, and nothing's happened at home.
Yes, but are you telling me if we lose 3-1 and I don't know Brentford, that isn't going to prompt calls for Ollie to go for in bad form?
No, doesn't look like it.
Maybe they're thinking about the run of games, because coming up for the next manager, because we have had a really tough
and the fact that players have been on and off, some have been injured, some have been like out of form.
So you're telling me if we lose to Watford on Saturday?
We do have a superb run of games coming up, and then again, you could argue that that's perfect for a new manager to come in.
And I do feel Ollie's gone back to Norway to get some therapy done and to get some magic potion juju back. That's gonna come into play.
We need it. We need the fucking juju. We need all the dark art magic.
He needed to go back to Christensen to get some magic
potion. Ollie's in Norway. Potion.
He's going to get some of Klopp's special PEDs, isn't he?
Oh yeah, some of them inhalers.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's a topic for another time.
You look at clubs who have proper planning. This in English football alone, Middlesbrough, Aston Villa, Norwich City. Especially Norwich is a really good example, in my opinion.
They're the director of football.
Stuart Webber, the director of football, decided on the Thursday that, I think we need to make a change. So he went to the board of directors, made a presentation to them, said, okay, I think our best chance of staying up is if we sack Daniel Fark. And then they went and they said, okay, we'll think about it for a couple of days. Saturday in the morning, they let him know you can sack him. And then post-match, they said, thank you very much for your service, Daniel. You're a club legend for leading us to 2 promotions, but it's time for somebody else to take the reins. And then they conducted a search and they hired I think the best candidate for the job.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That is the way that you approach it. But at our club, unfortunately, you have rumors that John Murtaugh wants Brendan Rodgers. You have rumors that someone is talking to Zidane. You have all sorts of nonsense, and the club keeps postponing.
There's rumors that the board are big fans of Poch. I'm like, there's such a disconnect. There's such a disconnect.
I mean, those rumors are going to come out ultimately, right? Because you're not going to have a single sort of one unified sort of name, and that's what everyone's going to be linked to. That's not going to happen.
I think
you talk about Manchester United and controversy, there are going to be different names and different reports coming out. That's how it's run in the media. So I'm not surprised at all.
There's 3 people on the short list. If any of them get sacked or resigned, whoever is free is going to be number 1 on the list. We know that. United under the Glazers have never paid compensation for another manager. Even with Molde, we shafted them where we said that, he's coming in on loan. And then when we made him permanent, I think I saw that we didn't actually pay them.
What?
He had a clause in his contract at Molde.
He had a clause. Yeah, I remember that.
That's bollocks, man.
He had a clause that if he goes to Manchester United as the manager, I think the compensation gets waived or something. I don't know.
So the Independent says that we made a goodwill payment of £500,000, which
that's a lot of money in Norway. To be fair,
that's like Ronaldo's week.
that's about a sixth of match day revenue.
To put it in perspective, the rumor is that Brendan Rodgers has a release clause for Champions League clubs in his contract at Leicester City, and it's not so much a rumor. Gianluca Di Marzio reported this, that it's 16 million euros, which is about 14 million pounds. So United paid 1/28 of that to Molde after a 6-month trial period first. We didn't even just say, okay, we'll pay the compensation. We said, well, let us see if we like him, and then if we do, we'll give you 500,000.
I think here's what actually happened. I think the board wanted Poch. If you read what he said when he was at Tottenham, this is when they got Champions League final, and then Ole goes on a 6-month win streak. And
Poch was dead on. If Ole had come in and done an average job, then Poch would be the manager of Manchester United.
Poch would have been, yeah. I mean,
right, but you can't ignore winning 6 months on for title winning.
The problem with that, Darth.
I mean, you got to look at Di Matteo, right? He came in mid-season, took them to a Champions League, and he was given the permanent manager's job.
And then flopped.
Let me ask you the question this way, though: when Ole came in, he was obviously went on this huge winning streak, and then they gave him the contract on March 27th, I think. What I was saying at the time when he got the job was, I'm happy that he's doing well. Let's wait to the end of the season. But the club decided in March we're going to give him the 3-year contract.
To be fair, I think that was more because a lot of players, contracts and stuff, were up.
But if you had waited until the summer,
you would have waited,
but then you have to identify
the loss to Huddersfield, the draw with Cardiff, and all that stuff. The 4-0 loss to Everton. If we had seen all that, would we have made him permanent still in the summer?
I don't know. But
then, to be fair,
can't argue because Ole did a great job, didn't he? Until this season.
Yeah. He did really well for 2 years. I'm not disputing the job that he did. I'm just saying that even then the club's processes for hiring were flawed in the sense that they said, first we're going to bring in somebody on a manager on loan, essentially. Then they said, we're going to wait till the end of the season to make an appointment. Then they said, actually, no, he's had 3 good months. We'll appoint him now. So you can see the muddled thinking has always been there. It's a problem that's going to stay at the club.
Which is exactly why I've been saying that I think they're taking their time to sort of just go through with the planning and everything. They want to be cautious. They don't want to get burned and make hasty decisions, really.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, you can admire the business that the club are doing. They are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They're not wanting to be a sacking club like a Chelsea. And you do have to admire that in some ways. And, if they are taking their time to sort of sound out the right candidate, then, it's a good thing in a sense. But that's what I suppose we just have to wait a little bit longer and hope Ole does the best that he can until then at the end of the day.
Can't wait to see the right candidate with great character and intensity showing up to Old Trafford.
No.
So we were talking about fringe players and how they just haven't sort of had enough game time. the likes of Donny van de Beek, Lingard, Telles, especially Lingard, especially him, because there was news earlier. I think was it Paul Hurst, he said that.
Simon yep, they've all.
He was a league. He went to all of they briefed the presses every article. But Paul Hurst was
So they basically said that contract talks have broken down because Lingard felt that the club were not exactly being very good in the talks with him. I imagine he probably doesn't exactly feel happy with the way Ollie has treated him either with game time, because he's barely played. So, do you guys think that he should have played more? Do you think he should stay or go?
I don't know how he can be pissed off. I feel like he was very heavily advised in the summer to go to West Ham because everyone knew that he wasn't going to get minutes here. I suppose he can play on as a wide forward, but his best position is sort of buzzing around the same areas that Bruno does, and you're never getting ahead of Bruno. It's the exact same situation as Van der Beek, so he should have went in the summer and he'd go in the summer. And exactly what everyone was saying would happen is now happening. So I personally don't understand why he can be pissed off. I mean, I know he's come on and he's done good things in games, and perhaps Ollie should have played him more, but exactly what everyone predicted is now happening.
Well, Ollie himself pretty much said, though, didn't he? You will get minutes.
The only reason he's still here is because West Ham didn't want to pay the money.
Yeah, West Ham wouldn't want to pay 25 million for.
It came down to
28, which I thought was
ridiculous. Not even 25.
All right, but would you pay 30 million for an Everton flop? What's his name? Was it Vlasic? Yeah, he was at Everton for a while. The guy, the
Russian. CSKA in Moscow and had two fantastic.
Yeah, he's been scoring.
So you can't just call somebody an Everton flop. Is the problem with that, Darth? Look at it that way. Then there's so many great players who've gone to smaller clubs, done poorly, and then come back and been fantastic. So
that's not the point. He still. I was annoyed at West Ham because I'm like, pay him.
It was logical from their part though, because Jesse Lingard would be free in a year. Vlasic wasn't. And then also with Jesse Lingard, he's 29 years old, I think. And with Vlasic, I think he's 23, 24, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a much better financial investment for them. It makes sense. And when I've seen him play, he's actually been decent for West Ham. So
that's what I'm saying,
Has he started Premier League games yet?
I think he did.
He might have played against us in one of the games, either the Cup or the League. I don't remember. I think it was the League Cup. But
League Cup, yeah.
So Dan was saying, though, that Lingard operates in the same spaces as Bruno.
Not exactly.
And what I would say with that is
not exactly
position.
Say that.
So I think Jesse Lingard should have gone in the summer. West Ham should have paid for him, all of that stuff. But what I will say is at the start of the season, when we first started struggling, there was that late winner that Jesse Lingard scored off the bench coming in off the left wing. He also scored on his one start, if I remember correctly. So I think he's got 2 goals this season, if I'm not mistaken. And Lingard, he's at least got the one. I think he's got 2, but either way.
Oh, he scored against West Ham for sure. For the win against West Ham.
Yeah. So
Newcastle he scored against.
Newcastle, that's right. So he's got 2 goals. The reason why I bring that up is at the start of the season when Marcus Rashford was missing, Ollie obviously and Cavani was injured and
Dan James got sold.
So you had a situation where you had Ronaldo up front, Mason Greenwood was scoring goals regularly on the right, so we'll leave him alone. But on the left wing, we tried Martial, we tried Pogba, we tried Sancho, who basically didn't particularly start well. So if you wanted to keep playing Sancho because he's the big investment, I would understand that. But given the fact that Ollie was chopping and changing, wouldn't the guy who scored 2 goals, including one from that wing, at least deserve a look in?
Yeah.
It seems to me like if you were trying to pick players based on form and merit, which is what the manager should be doing, not names and paychecks, then Jesse Lingard deserved a couple of more starts than he's had, so he's rightfully pissed off.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. He would have played against Leeds as well. I remember Ollie saying if he didn't have COVID-19 at the start of the season, he would have played against Leeds. I think he would have had a great game as well because that would have really suited him.
Yeah.
He probably could do like a sort of Dan James role because he's great at going into space because he's got great sort of movement and he's obviously really hardworking. He tracks back, he presses. But I think he'd do that role quite well, to be honest.
To be fair, you mentioned Martial on the left wing. He did get a goal against Everton. So just saying.
How many goals has he scored in the last, let's say, 18 months? And it's like 4 goals in the league.
3, 4, I think. I'm just saying this season he scored
in the
one.
9-0 as well.
All throughout. Just say. But yeah. but I mean, Jesse should have started definitely ahead of Martial at least. Look, I mean, in the summer, all of us were thinking, yeah, he has to go. You know, he's not going to have a future. West Ham's there. They're looking around, just pay up the money and get him out, you know? But then, like your surgeon said, at the start of the season, you know, he was making sub appearances. He scored a couple of goals. He looked good, you know, and we thought with Marcus Rashford out and with Martial not performing well, we have a sort of hole on the left wing which he can fulfill until the time Rashford comes back. And you know, our thoughts really sort of changed from the summer till when the season started. So from he has to go to hang on a second, he could be, you know, one of those top type of players, right? That's how our thoughts transition. And now we're like, having read this, we're like, yeah, we're kind of not surprised because
there's one more thing here I think that's actually important to point out. If Ollie was consistent about, you know, we have a long-term plan and we're sticking to it. Like we signed Jadon Sancho, we're going to keep trying him on the left wing because we want to bet him in. Paul Pogba, we're trying to get him to sign a new contract at that point. Or Anthony Martial has a long-term deal here. So we're going to keep playing the long-term prospect players. We're going to follow the plan. It doesn't matter what the form is. You can kind of respect that. But the problem is with the goalkeeping situation, we know he did the opposite, where the form superseded the long-term plan. So there needs to be some kind of consistency there where either you say, we're going to follow the long-term plan, Henderson, Martial, Pogba, Sancho, that's what we're going with. Or you go with form and play De Gea and Lingard at that point. What you don't do is say, okay, in goal, I'm going to go with form because I like De Gea, but I'm not so sure about Lingard, so I'm going to go ahead and have him not start based on form. None of it makes sense.
I mean, to be fair, with regards to Henderson, like he fell ill with COVID when the season started. So that was just bad coincidence for Dean. I mean,
you're right, but the problem is it's now mid-November.
Yeah, so, and then David De Gea has shown good patches of form. So it's not like Dean
Rashford was injured and Edinson Cavani was out injured, and Jesse Lingard showed flashes of form. But Jesse Lingard didn't get the same opportunity that David De Gea got when he showed patches of form.
Yeah, I mean, I think contract talks have to be one of the reasons why that probably was the case, because you know he's essentially in his final year, really, at United, and maybe there's some miscommunication in regards to contract talks. You know, they're stalled or they're not progressing. So Ollie's gone like, probably, you know what? If this is going to be his final season, then I don't want to really play him. I'd rather focus on the players who are going to be, the seasons to come.
If he's doing that, why is he still playing Pogba?
There you go.
Yeah.
There's just contradictions upon contradictions.
Yeah.
So I think Ollie really needs to do himself.
That's where I think that's where the bit of favoritism does come into play. Because
he needs to play the players that are going to play for him, and Jesse Lingard will run through brick walls for a manager. It's just what he does. You know, he buzzes around, he'll run, he'll chase, he's just like Bruno in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, like at the start of the season, if you remember those reports where Jesse was talking about, you know, the bad times that he was going through, and then he sort of approached Ollie, and then Ollie was like, "Oh, you should have come sooner to me. You know, we could have helped you out and things like that." So it's not like he really hates him. It's just he's a bit inconsistent with regards to his selection. You know,
I'm surprised we haven't seen
there isn't like a personal hatred like, you know, how Jose had for Shaw, for example, or Jose had for Pogba. So there isn't. The one thing with all these, you won't find hatred of him for any of the players in the squad.
Unless your name's Donny Van de Beek.
Stop it.
We don't know. We don't know. Do we? Do we know?
I don't think he hates Donny Van de Beek. I just think he's confused of how to use him.
Yeah, I think that.
Or whether if he's ready or not. Because
for a year and a half, he's played and scored for Ajax in the Champions League. He's ready.
Yep.
I don't really want to see Donny Van de Beek go. I think he's a fantastic player, and
I think he'll go Newcastle.
I hope he goes on loan and not on a permanent deal in Champions. I think the next manager will really want him.
I think if you come from a club like Ajax, you go to, you know, sort of historic clubs. I think you sort of have a bit of you have some values about you. So I don't think he'll go to Newcastle personally.
I think he'll go where he can play. That's where he'll go.
He's got bad.
At this point, if
What
North Korea
brilliant
told him that he
analysis.
would play regularly
Thanks.
at the highest level, he'd sign for them. It doesn't matter.
He's going to get benched by Shelby.
He'll play. I think he'll
Sort
play
of the
against
Voldemort
Watford.
Malfoy dynamic to that with his hair.
Yeah, but I mean, I do see him playing against the likes of like Watford and Brentford, and I do see.
No,
for sure.
I think he'd go Juve and do a job. You know, he's still a top level player.
Can Juve even afford them?
Oh wait, I'm talking about him playing for United in these upcoming games. I'm not talking about him playing for those teams.
Oh.
I thought you were about
You guys have already shipped him off, and I'm trying to keep him here. You guys have shipped him off.
He hasn't played so far.
God knows where.
What, he hasn't?
I mean,
has he played this season?
yeah, he's had two starts. So
he played against Atalanta and he linked up really well with Jadon Sancho actually, for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but he got subbed off, I think, around the 60th minute in that game, and then he played against Young Boys, and he got subbed off because Wan-Bissaka got sent off.
I thought it was Sancho.
That wasn't his fault, though. I mean,
he's got 2 starts all season, Van de Beek. So
he'll get more. I think now the pressure's on Ollie to get more. So
Ollie has to start rotating more. It's simple.
Just throw him in. Just see what happens. Just throw him in with Matic. See what happens.
I don't think Ollie thinks he can play pivot, and I don't think he will drop Bruno. But you
can't drop Bruno. You just can't.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Okay, so we've got Man United v Watford coming up on Saturday. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Are you confident? Dan, do you want to go first?
I feel okay about it. I think after the City game, having the international break was nice, and I've never enjoyed an international break as I have now. You know, I've barely touched any football since the last kick of the game in the City game. But no, I'm feeling okay about it. I feel like Ollie will change things. You know, I mean, to be honest, after the City game, it felt very foreboding. You know, it felt like the final nail in his coffin. But you know, he seems to be given time, and you know, whether he's gone away to clear his head and he feels maybe I do need to change things, I hope so, because what he's doing is not working. So whether that, you know, causes him to maybe take a few more risks, play players in positions that, you know, maybe they haven't had many minutes in, I don't know. I hope that he experiments with things because, you know, I mean, he's probably going anyway. So if he can experiment with a few things, perhaps see what happens. You know, that's where I'm at the minute. I just want to see a bit of excitement, really. You know, I want to see Sancho play. I want to see how Van de Beek does in the midfield next to Matic, just for a bit of entertainment at the moment. So I did predict that we were going to win quite well because it's Watford. But I don't know. I'm feeling fairly impartial about it, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not exactly positive going into it. I think we'll probably go win 2-1 with a late Ronaldo goal or something.
Yeah, I'm torn between
2-1
and 2-2 as well. It's a really tough thing to say.
Yeah, I'm not exactly confident. We'll probably play for the back with Ronaldo up top, and it's just going to be like it has been. You know, for example, the Wolves game, we were pretty awful in that. I think it'd be something like that where we just narrowly win, but we don't deserve it. But yeah, I hope Ollie does experiment. I hope he does play Sancho. I mean, it's difficult to drop Greenwood. You know, why not play Sancho? Because he's been Sancho, and you know you need to change things. And why not play Van de Beek? Because you know for the same reason. But yeah, Vim, what were your thoughts on Matt? Are you confident?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not entirely confident, but I'm not going to be super negative either. I think Ollie needs to change things a bit. But I do feel he needs to play the 4-2-3-1. I don't think playing a back three makes sense against Watford. Play with a back four, midfield two, front and a front four. Rotate a bit. I'd like to see Donny in there. I'd like to see maybe Jesse get a game. You know, obviously Ronaldo is going to feature because that's like default at this point of time. The question is, who plays in our back four. And I mean, when we're discussing team selections, we'll probably get into that. But I don't know. I don't know if Maguire plays. I don't know if Shaw plays. This is something that we'll have to decide. But yeah, we need look. If we have to turn around, if we have to turn our form around, it has to start with this game. No, there's no turning back now. If you want to turn around, if you want to change things up, and no matter how many games you've got 5 games left, you've got till the end of the season. It starts now. So just salvage whatever you can. If you can, I wouldn't really put it past us to finish in the top 3 again if we all of a sudden go on a good run of form, which I know is difficult given the circumstances, but you never really know. Unpredictability has been one of the central virtues of us as a team in the past couple of years. So yeah, but I do hope Ollie does change things. He experiments, he rotates, and just realizes that, you know what, you've got a pretty good squad in your hands, to make the most of it.
Yeah, fair enough. United Resurgent, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's difficult because I'm so disenchanted with the way the club is functioning right now. As much as I support Ollie while he's here, I think the club should have made a change for Liverpool. I think the club should have made a change for Man City. So I'm a little bit frustrated that the process to move on hasn't gone further. That said, while he's here, I hope he wins every game, and I hope he's able to turn around and win the Champions League. But I don't see it happening. I'm not super confident for the match. Like I said earlier, I think it'll be a 2-1, 2-2 kind of a result. I don't expect much rotation. I think we'll see pretty much all of the usual favorites come straight back into the team. And I think that's kind of where we're headed. So I'm just kind of observing it and hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
Fair enough. So, Daz, do you think like this could sort of be a game which turns things around? We've said it so many times, but do you think it's possible?
Watford's an awkward game, right? I watched them against Arsenal. I think was it Arsenal the last game?
Played against Arsenal, yeah.
Yeah. They actually played pretty decent. I've watched as much football as I can. But I hope we turn it around against them. It has to be a catalyst. If you lose there,
if you even draw against Watford on the back of the results we've had, and the fact that Chelsea and Arsenal are upcoming, it's going to raise, obviously, it's impossible to raise more questions, but it's...
We're 5 points off fourth. We're currently 5 points, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know the fixtures. I haven't looked because I like international break. Gives me a break from football. Thank fuck, because
I have literally been I haven't been following United news for the past 2 weeks, so I have no idea what's happening.
I don't know, but I just played through this part of the season on my career mode last night, so I'm pretty familiar with the fixtures that we have up.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler alert, they didn't go well for me. I finished second in my Champions League group to Villarreal, and I think I'm 7th in the league. So good luck, Ollie.
What I was saying, I was saying, I don't know everybody else's fixtures. I know Chelsea play Leicester. That's been advertised a lot. I don't know who Liverpool got. Liverpool got Arsenal.
Yeah.
I don't know who City got. So potentially there could be slip-ups, or they could just pull away, right?
At this point, we just have to focus on ourselves. The other team's fixtures don't even matter.
Yeah.
It's Watford. We have to win. That's all that matters.
Win. That's it. No other result. If you draw, no draw. You have to win. But I'm gonna go for 1-1 draw. I joked on Twitter like, oh yeah, Josh King 40-yard screamer and the hair on goal again.
Yeah. So in terms of the starting lineup, then, what do you guys think is? I mean, it's going to be Hair and goal. I don't think he's going to play Dean Henderson.
Here, before we get going, can I just say one thing about the lineup? Yeah. I'm going to just say what I think the lineup will be, and then we can talk about what we think it should be. I'm 99% sure that the team is going to be David De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw as a back four, McTominay and Fred in the pivot. Then it'll be somebody at right wing, probably Sancho. We don't really know for sure. Bruno, Rashford, and Ronaldo up top. That's one player is really the one that I don't know who Ollie will pick. The other 10 spots, I am 90+% sure those are the starters. And I'm pretty sure that's the formation too. Having said that, that's not what I would play. And then, sorry, I just wanted to get that out there about that's
what a god, Vin.
Likely. So
if you go 3 at the back.
Oh, I'm not going 3 at the back either. I'm going for a different formation entirely.
Even 3 at the back, at least it's like you could play. You're gonna think, oh, not Dalot again, but you could play Dalot at right wing back.
Oh,
you could play.
And honestly, if we play 3 at the back, it makes a lot of sense, Reese.
Exactly.
The problem here, though, is I looked at Watford's formations under Ranieri so far. Against Liverpool, they played 5-4-1. Against Arsenal, I think it was 4-1-4-1. And in the other matches, it was 4-2-3-1. So they play with a lone striker. Having a back 3 against one striker doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, is the only thing. That's why I think 4 at the back is probably better suited to this game.
So what I'm terrified of, I hope Ollie didn't stumble upon a 3-5-2 playing Football Manager on a Friday night.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad formation. I'm personally a huge fan of 3 at the back. It's my favorite formation. Having said that, I don't think necessarily this game calls for it.
No.
I think it could be the time to play. Give me words out. Try something new, because, like, as I say, we need to do something different. You could play Telles, Dalot. You could play Van der Beek. And it just wouldn't. Play short right wing back. At least it's something different.
What I did was I started writing down the players I would pick, because I didn't actually come up with a tactic for this game when I was going through my team selection. What I did was I thought about, okay, I think what's most important is you need fighters and characters, the people who are going to be in the trenches with you in a war effectively. That's the kind of people you want with you in this kind of a situation for Ollie. So then what I did was I started writing down players, ignoring the formation entirely, and I got 10 down. And then I had to pick between either a third center back or another midfielder. And I thought, okay, you know what? It's Watford. They're playing with one striker. I'll throw in another midfielder. But I don't necessarily hate going with a third center back either, even though I don't think it's super necessary, because I think what we should do is go with the Cavani-Ronaldo partnership up front.
I like that a lot.
What I think is you really want... What was that?
Oh, no, Cavani's not fit.
He's out. You're right. Cavani's out. Okay, make it Rashford and Ronaldo. That's easy. I was thinking about what to do.
Greenwood, Ronaldo. Sancho, Rashford.
We know that Greenwood and Ronaldo don't necessarily get along right now. Maybe Rashford and Ronaldo. Plus, Rashford's in form, so.
Yeah, I think Rashford would fine. So yeah, I don't know, Vin. What are your thoughts on the lineup? Who would you play? What do you think will happen?
David De Gea starts for me. Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire. Is Varane back yet? No, right?
No, there's no Varane.
No Varane, right? And I don't trust Bailly enough yet. So I'm gonna go with Lindelof, Maguire. I want to start Telles as left back, but I think it's going to be Shaw. Midfield, I'm actually going to predict Fred and Donny van de Beek playing this game.
Oh, yeah. Vin, do you want to make a bet on this?
I'm predicting. I just have a hunch that Ollie's going to pick Fred and Van de Beek. Because it's
going to be Van der Beek and Matic. I really do. I think he's going to change something. It's going to be Van der Beek and Matic.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, either it's not going to be McTominay and Fred, whatever it is. That's what I'm saying. So it can be either Van der Beek, Matic, Van der Beek, Fred. But I feel one of these two pivots is going to start. It's not going to be
you guys are falling into the same trap again. Yeah. So sad. Ollie will finally play Donny van de Beek this time. It never happens. It's like the Paul Pogba trap where he has 3 good games. Like, we finally solved Paul Pogba, and then it turns out no, we didn't. It's the same thing with Ollie. He's going to finally play Donny van de Beek. He'll play 30 minutes off the bench if he's lucky.
I lock him.
Let's see. Hey, I'm trying to be a bit.
Find out next time on Morgan Mulsey.
So yeah. Anyways, midfield, like I said, Donny Matic, Donny Fred, Bruno in the 10, Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left, Ronaldo up front. That's what we're going to go with, or maybe Greenwood up front. I don't know.
Okay. As I say, I would play the back 5, Dalot, Telles, similar to what Resurgent said, with Rashford and Ronaldo up top, probably Van der Beek and Fred. Yeah. Anyone, I don't want, it's probably not for everyone to go through a lineup because, that would take ages, but
let me say this.
I was going to meme it. Hold on.
The formation that I would go with, and this is probably going to be, if this actually is what Ollie ends up picking, Twitter is going to lose its mind. I'm going with the 4-4-2 diamond.
I knew you was going to say 4-4-2. I knew it.
I'm going with Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire. I am going with Luke Shaw because I trust his defending against Sarr more than I do Tellez's, even in bad form. And then the midfield, and this is what will piss off Twitter if he goes with it. Matic, McTominay, Fred, and Bruno. Just one defensive midfielder, 2 shuttlers who are going to defend effectively, and then Bruno in front of them, and then Ronaldo and Rashford up front. And I would go with Henderson in goal, but Ollie will go with David De Gea. So
at this point, I'm going to welcome that. If I see that, I'll be happy.
You'll be happy with what?
All right, can I do my
What are you
meme?
saying?
Okay.
All right, in goal, I'm going 4-2-3-1. I'm going to go Kova, Teddy Mengi in centre back. Fernandez at left back.
And what you are seeing now is that I just cut Darth's mic because of the nonsense that he's.
No. I want him to complete it. What? It's going to be Will Fisher centre back?
Okay, all right, here.
Will Fisher isn't here. He's on loan. It's Paul McShane centre back with Mengi.
Well.
But
he's also going to play an injured Tyus Chong. He's gonna go with the entire under 23 line.
It'll be
Zidane.
It'll be Zidane, Iqbal,
Hannibal Mabry starting over Bruno.
Yeah. Mate. But in seriousness, it'll be 4-2-3-1. De Gea, everybody said the team. It's the same team, right? Doesn't change. Oh wait, I think it'll go Greenwood on the right, not Sancho.
Yeah, there's every chance. So okay, trying to move on to predictions or.
You just see Vin like this.
Let me ask one lineup related question for everybody. Reese talked about a 3 at the back. I talked about a diamond. Vin and Dan are playing Donny van de Beek in a pivot with somebody else. Darth was playing the under 22 side, under 23 side. We've all come up with different solutions here. But does anybody actually expect it'll be different from the team that I talked about in the beginning with all the same usual suspects?
No, it'll be that team.
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay.
I expect it would be slightly different for sure.
Oh, Vin is optimistic.
Couple of changes might happen for sure. Like I said.
No.
I'm holding out for change and hope. As a hopeless romantic, but I know I'm just going to be let down.
What I'm saying is it's not going to be McTominay and Fred in midfield.
See, the thing is, Vin is hoping that the 3 letters of his name in the next podcast will stand for vindicated, because he'll be the one who's going to be right. In reality, what's going to happen, Vin is the 3 letters are going to stand for Vindaloo, because he's going to have to buy us all one.
Vindaloo. Anyway.
Okay. Let's move on to predictions then. I'm going to go 3-2 to United. It's going to be a last minute winner. We're going to come back from 2-1 down, and then we're going to win.
Don't. I need to get the defibrillator out again.
Yeah, it's not going to be deserved at all. But we're gonna get the 3 points. What do you think?
I'm gonna go 1-1 draw. I just thought our form is down the pan at the minute, and I'm sorry being negative, but I'm sorry.
What about you, Dan? What's your prediction?
Sorry, go ahead, Dan. I just said 2-2, but go ahead.
I don't know. 2 days ago, I thought someone was going to win 4-1, but now.
What?
Don't look at me like that. I was being optimistic.
Can I have somebody alcohol?
We're all gonna win. We're gonna win this game 8-1, guys.
Woo!
Gonna be
Stop
fun,
30 manager.
No, when you think logically, every time something's happened, after an international break, we're going to get better. After a poor result, we're finally going to get better. So if you think logically like that, we're not going to get better. But I do think we'll win the game, and I think we're going to win the game 2-1.
Okay.
I like it. United versus I don't know who's left.
Did Vin make a prediction? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, Vin was too busy cooking on stream.
Sorry, cooking. But I was thinking about the scoreline while cooking, and I am going to go 3-1.
To which team? That's a reasonable question, right?
3-1 United.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
to be clear.
2-1 United with a Ben Foster vlog. McTominay shirt giveaway.
Yeah, Ben Foster on his vlog getting smashed by Ronaldo. Yeah, that'll be something.
Friggin' legend.
There we are.
Wait, do you want to move on to the question?
I'll just edit this part out, but basically just
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you can go. We can do the question, then we can wrap at the end. I'll just figure around the order. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have a question for you. We're going to be top reds about this because why not? Who would you? So you have a dinner date with like 3 United legends, players, ex-managers. Who would you choose?
Are we ruling?
Yeah, there's a rule for this though.
So,
Sir
all
Alex
right, there's a
Ferguson's
rule.
not fair
No
game.
Sir Alex Ferguson.
Because everybody will put Sir Alex Ferguson, so he's not on the table.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 legends, huh?
Any player, any.
Okay, I got
Yeah,
my 3.
they don't
I
need
got
to be a
my 3.
legend.
Okay, I got my 3. Roy Keane,
Ooh.
Patrice Evra,
Good choice.
and the last one, Rooney.
So basically, your entire dinner party is a giant punch-up where Rooney and Keane kick off, and Patrice Evra's dancing and slapping people with a chicken.
There's some action, there's some entertainment and good food. What's not to say? What's wrong about that?
Okay, all right. Sounds like a fun time.
That would be a really entertaining dinner, not gonna lie.
You're all welcome, by the way.
I need video footage of that.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go next?
You can go.
Yeah, go on.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. So mine is the opposite theme of Vin's crazy physical altercations and nonstop nonsense. I want to have like a really sophisticated discussion about tactics and the secrets to success, and also just the banalities of life. So what I've gone with is not quite. I've got Louis van Gaal.
I was just gonna say Louis van Gaal.
Yeah. Wayne Rooney says that he's the greatest tactical mind that he's ever worked with, so he's invited. I've got Juan Mata from the current squad because he's the nicest man in football, and then he's also somebody who he's part of the common cause for 1% for charity, and he's a good thinker, he's generally speaking. So I feel like he's somebody who would contribute to this discussion from a player's perspective. And then the last one I was really torn on because I wanted someone, because these are obviously not huge United legends. Van Gaal won an FA Cup. Mata's been here for like 8 years, but they're not exactly people we're going to look back on in 20 years as a big part of the club's history. So the last choice was really difficult for me. It was between Sir Matt Busby and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I decided to go with Sir Matt because then we can have some comparison about rebuilding the team after Munich, and also the comparison between the tactical eras, 60s versus now. So I feel like it would offer more to the dinner party, although Ollie would be more fun, obviously, because I'm more familiar with his work, and also player, manager, he's been involved with the club in so many ways, and he's a big part of our lives. But I'm going to go with Mata, Louis van Gaal, and Sir Matt Busby.
Or you could get Matt Busby, Ollie, and Mata.
No, I'm not going to do that. Because what you're doing is
you want to talk about rebuilding? Put the two of them together.
I mean, the problem though there, Ben, is you're talking about a team. You're getting rid of Van Gaal, who's the greatest tactical mind, according to Wayne Rooney, who would have been invited if he wasn't involved in.
He's busy dining with me. So
my dinner involves high character individuals. There's no room here for Ryan Giggs or Paul Scholes or Roy Keane. You have
that's something we can agree on.
The most crazy thing you're allowed to do at my dinner party is, as Louis van Gaal did at Bayern Munich, literally pull your balls out of your pants to show the player that you will drop them.
Funny.
Anyways, now on to whoever wants to go next.
You know something? I'm so glad that you picked Sir Matt because Ollie.
Oh, you went Ollie, nice.
Ollie would be my first one. I just feel like the way that he feels about Man United would very much mirror how I feel about United. He loves the club, and I feel like he's the sort of person that would do the washing up after. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. I can see him with a dishcloth just standing there.
Ollie's in your kit. He's mopping your floors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's getting a Hoover out and everything.
Patrice is doing that for me with a pinch of chaos.
No, but the difference is Ollie will leave you with a clean house. Patrice will leave you with rotting fish on the floor.
The chicken story about Evra.
First one I've gone is on, he's a real club legend. We can talk about that night in 99 when I was 4 years old, and he can tell me some things that I don't know. And, he's just a lovely bloke. Secondly, I've actually gone for Marcus Rashford from the current squad. I feel like his sort of humanitarianism ethos very much matches my own. And lastly, I've gone for Ruud van Nistelrooy because he was my favourite player growing up. He's one of the best strikers I've ever seen. And I'm sure he'd bring something fantastic to the dinner party. So those are my three.
That just sounds like a fantastic time. Like, it seems like a very well balanced one. Mine might be a little boring because it's very cerebral. Vin's on there, it seems like it'd be really chaotic, like a frat party almost.
Yeah.
These all match our personalities.
Yeah, Dan just seems like he focused on getting good eggs in. So it's a good choice.
All right. I'll go.
Okay, let me guess. Knowing Darth, it's going to be Paul Scholes because somebody needs to cut his toenails. It's going to be Ryan Giggs because the missus is...
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to be Eric Cantona because...
Naughty.
Yeah, this country people.
Yeah, well, Cantona's at mine. I like a bit of Eric.
Smashing eggs with his you-know-what.
Yeah. No, just because it's Eric, right? I'd love to talk to him about football and just find out everything. He's just really fascinating. Every time he talks about football, there is more to it than he can let on. But even if it's about youth football, as he says, youth, it's not youth, it's youth. Even if he talks about that, he goes into depth. And I do want to go down that route. Sam Busby, obviously, I've got to have him there. I want to know, as Resurgent said, talked about like the whole rebuild after Munich, everything, and where'd you go from there, how you fix it, and what's his thoughts on the current situation, his thoughts on Ollie. And then I'm gonna go for George Best. Because he's probably gonna turn up with 3 missed wilds.
Talk about chaotic, we have a winner right there.
Now what we've got to do is somehow add George Best and Ryan Giggs in the same room.
No. To be fair, Reese is probably going to have Dan James and Ryan Giggs just because they're all Welsh.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be Delo, the greatest ever player.
Do you know? Okay, let Reese finish his choices, and then I've got a peculiar pick. But go ahead.
Okay. I wanted to pick someone from the current player squad, one of the more experienced guys. Who said Mata?
That was me.
Yeah, that was a good.
Actually.
Yeah. They were good picks. I said I'm going to say Matic because I feel like I would want to sort of. No, I would want to sort of ask him about like the current situation, about Jose Mourinho as well. I feel like because he had a good relationship with Mourinho, I'd love to ask him sort of about him and about how that sort of period went, what he sort of thinks went wrong.
Okay, I feel like Mata should be a good pick. He seems like a really down-to-earth person as well.
Yeah.
Mata, so one of the other reasons I've already got him, I got the signed book. What I really want is to get it more personalized as well. That would help with the dinner.
So I'd say Matic. I mean, I guess Sir Matt Busby, I think he'd be obviously a great pick. Hearing his stories and his experience obviously would be amazing. And maybe Rooney or Cantona. I'll say Cantona just because it's Cantona. But yeah, I think it would be an interesting talk with MC.
One thing I found really interesting is one of the greatest players of all time, arguably the greatest player of all time, currently in our squad. He's in his second spell at the club. Cristiano Ronaldo. No one even thought about him.
We don't want feeding
I'll
seeds
tell you
and
what.
leaves.
Remember the peculiar pick I was talking about now. So imagine a table with Eric Cantona, because we all know, the kind of character he is. I'm the best sort of character.
bro.
No. Eric Cantona, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Oh
George
my
Best.
You
god.
just want to go with egos, basically.
Throw George Best
The
in there instead of Zlatan. Come
ultra
on.
egoistic dinner table.
Free generation, number 7, George Best.
I've got
Cannot.
another idea.
Ronaldo.
I just want
Come on.
chaos at my dinner table.
That's
Oh,
what I wanted.
you can come to my dinner for that.
Roy
Don't worry.
Keane, Paul Pogba, and Jesse Lingard. Jesse and Pogba are dancing, and me and Roy are getting bats.
No, you forgot. Roy Keane, Paul Pogba, and Fred.
I got one. Roy
Fred's a
Keane,
hard worker.
Evra,
It's
and
hard for me
Vidic.
that I want to attack Fred.
Roy Keane. Oh, you don't have to do it. Keane will do it for you.
No, but I want to help Roy. So
You can attack Pogba then.
What about Vidic?
We'll throw Vidic in there.
Vidic was nearly on my list.
Dumba.
He was so close.
He was a
Did anyone have a
nutcase,
fourth, like that really nearly made it? Because I had a fourth and it was Brian Robson.
Oh, that's my
Oh,
fourth.
you know who I would want to go for?
That's my fourth.
Van der Sar.
that'll be a really
He'd be
good
very
pick.
good
That's
to
one
see.
that I kind of wish I had picked.
And
now.
while I'm having dinner, I try to convince him to become the CEO of United.
There is an
Agent
argument that I would swap on Mata for Van der Sar now, because Van der Sar, LVG, and Sir Matt Busby would be one hell of a learning experience. But what I will say is,
Brian Robson was my fourth.
it's also interesting. Not only did no one pick Ronaldo, Ryan Giggs, who is the all-time leading appearance maker, didn't get anyone's list.
Well, he's serving.
Wayne Rooney is our top scorer. I think Vin had him, right? But he's the
I have Azar.
so
Him.
yeah.
It'd be an evening of
Paul Scholes is one of our greatest ever players. Nobody needs their toenails trimmed, so he's not on the list.
Dennis Irwin.
Darth was close.
Yeah, Owen was nearly on mine.
Owen. Steve Bruce. You don't score 19 goals in a Premier League season.
Steve Bruce would bring
mean,
you a tippy, to be fair.
You could say Peter Schmeichel, but no, he went to City, so he's not allowed.
And he's racist.
True.
Anyway.
Anyways, so that's Dart's alleged views on the matter.
Has anyone thought of Steve Bruce?
I just said
He
it.
just did that.
Oh, you did? I
I
didn't.
said he'd bring you a chippy.
Steve
Yeah,
Bruce,
he's unfair.
Yep, Sam as well.
Yep, Ronnie Johnson.
Okay, thanks for watching. Follow, subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.